Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne, Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. 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 Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram. 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. 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 Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, 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 Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम, राम राम हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Aditi Lata Mataji, you would like to recite first?
Mataji, please. Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. So we recited from Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 text 9 last week, but I think we lost quite a few days because of the festivals, and although it's a famous verse, do you all feel confident, or should we repeat the verse again this week? We did 10:9. Machitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantashcha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Would you like me to repeat the same verse again this week or go to the next one?
Yes, Mataji. Repeat.
Repeat. Yes, I thought so. Okay. So let's start. Yes, Mataji, go ahead. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Machitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else needs to go first? So we'll go in order. Achyut Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada Jai Karam Raj.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Mataji.
Machittamagata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Translation of Prabhupada given by Srila Prabhupada. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayantaha Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to go first? Okay. Achintadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Machitta Madgata Prana
Machitta Madgata Prana
Bodhayantah Parasparam
Bodhayanta Parasparam
Kathayantascha Mam Nityam
Kathayantascha Mam Nityam
Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha.
Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Tapana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha.
Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha.
Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Translation. Like the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction from always enlightening me and conversing about me. My mom country.
Your volume is so low I can hardly hear what you're saying. You finished?
Yes, and my mom can't read right now.
She read already. Thank you. Okay. So next, Inba. Prabhuji, Inba, any other?
They will go last, Mataji. I'll do now.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Translation all goes to Srila Prabhupada. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Isha,
Machita Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Kathayanta Shramam Nityam, Kushanti Ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
yes. Vishnashish,
Majjitamanpata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantashya nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Madhava,
Thought of my devotee told me, the life of my devotee to my service, and the very great satisfaction and bliss in words and what is very good and converse with it.
Rasapriya is here. Yeah, you can recite through by ear or you come here. Yes, yes. Wait. Yeah, correct.
Machitamankato prana modhayanta parasparam kathayantashtamam nityam pukshanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about him.
Next is Jaganesh Prabhu, who is finished. So, Medha and Usha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all praise to Srila Prabhupada, all praise to the simple devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Matchitta Matgata Prana, Bodhayantaha Parasparam, Hatayantascha Mam Nityam, Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotee dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great pleasure, great satisfaction, and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Thank you, Mataji. Medha is running a little late, Mataji. She'll be here another. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Saujanya, Priyanka Mataji is done. So, Saujanya Mataji and Pragnya.
Hare Krishna Mataji, then we pronounce all praise to Srila Prabhupada and praise to Dasi.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mat chitta mat buddhena param kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Yes, Mataji. Pragnya.
Matchita Matkata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantaschamam Nityam Dashyanti cha Ramanti cha.
Translation.
Yeah, the screen. Okay. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anyone else? Did anyone not recite yet? Everyone has recited. I'll also recite. Bhagavad Gita 10:9. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees always dwell in me. Their lives are devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss in always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Okay? Inba and are not there yet, Prabhuji? Maybe not. Okay, so we will begin. I'll just discuss a little bit.
No, Mataji. Yeah.
Not yet. Okay, no problem. So, Machitta Madgata Prana. If you remember, we discussed Machitta. Chitta. So, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji had a question about Chitta. So, Mataji had asked, Chitta means, does Chitta mean consciousness? And Mataji sent a few quotes from Srila Prabhupada's uh, purports and the word to word translation where Chitta is translated as consciousness. So, the answer to this question is, I had mentioned it before, these four uh, components of the subtle body, mind, intelligence, false ego, and chitta, each one is different and each one has a specific function, but sometimes they can be used. For example, you can say mind, man, to mean heart. So heart means it includes all four. That means you simply use the word man to mean all four, to understand. And similarly, you can use chitta to mean all four, or you can use any of these terms according to the context. It can be the words can be interchanged, but nevertheless, each one of these four are also individual and they have specific functions. So, if you ask what is the specific function of chitta, the specific function of chitta is awareness. Awareness. And consciousness, well, you can say consciousness and awareness is the same. Not exactly, not exactly, right? Awareness and consciousness cannot be. Consciousness is a more general term and that is used for the spirit soul. So when chitta is translated as consciousness, then you should understand their chitta to mean the whole subtle body. It's used in the sense of chitta meaning the whole subtle body. That means when you say the whole subtle body, uh, so when you say it is consciousness, consciousness is actually the symptom of the soul. So if the soul is not there, there is no consciousness. If the soul is not there, there is no body. No subtle body, no gross body, right? Until and unless there is soul, there cannot be any subtle body or gross body, isn't it? So, in that sense, these words are interchangeable. That's the answer. The words, the terms can be interchangeable. One can be used for all uh, or otherwise also, right? You use the word heart to mean mind also. So, in different places, according to context, in Bhagavatam itself, you will find that one word is used. Uh, yeah, so just like a similar example would be how many elements are there in this material existence? This is an actual question asked by, I think Sukadev Goswami asked Parikshit Maharaj. It comes in the 11th canto somewhere. But Parikshit Maharaj asked a question about how many elements are there. Sometimes you say this whole material world is consisting of 9 elements, and in some other places you say 16 elements. Somewhere else it is it's said 24 elements. Somewhere it is said 27 elements, 26. What is this? 25 elements? How come? So Sukadeva Goswami answered that question saying that none of them are wrong. It depends on how you're counting, how you're calculating. So it depends on the context, the person who is describing it. So if you take, each one separately, like five knowledge acquiring senses, five, what do you say, working senses, five sense objects. Like that, you take each one separately, then it comes to a bigger number. Or you just club them all into one and take them as categories. This, then there's only, fewer. But that doesn't mean when someone says fewer, it is wrong, or when someone says more, that means that is right because there's more detail. They're both correct. It just depends on, so you should know how the person who's speaking, so you have to know the context, how he is explaining, and based on the context, you have to understand. So that's how Sukadeva Goswami explained in that situation. He said none of them are wrong. Similarly, taking that example, I'm explaining here this chitta, mind, intelligence, and go. These four constitute the subtle body, and sometimes all four can be taken as one, and all four together can be called chitta, or all four together can be called man, or they can be called hriday, like that, heart, and vice versa, otherwise also. So, so then when they say chitta equals consciousness, means taking the subtle body together and then consciousness. But specifically, if you want to say what is the function of chitta, it is awareness, being awareness. That's why when your chitta does not go somewhere onto one aspect, even though your senses have come in touch with the sense object, you are not aware of it. Why? Because your chitta didn't go there. That's how it is explained. And consciousness means you're conscious, right? Somebody touches your skin and you become conscious. How you're becoming conscious? Because of the presence of the soul. So consciousness is a symptom of the presence of the soul. Was that helpful? Priyanka Haripriya Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. I got the point. But at the same time, I have this maybe some pre-understanding, I can say. Like this consciousness and chetna, like consciousness in Hindi we'll call it as chetna, right?
Like you say, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam. Chetaha. Cheta means chitta there. So Cheto Darpanam means the heart is cleansed. Heart there. So chitta means heart.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Mataji. I got it, Mataji. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So those who didn't recite the verse, also, so we were still doing what we discussed before in the previous class. I wanted to go to the next part of this verse. So machitta. So we discussed chitta. So this pure devotees, what is their consciousness? Their chitta is always in Krishna only, and it is not in anything else. They are not aware of anything else. So just like example is, I told you, like small children, when they're not small children, anyone who's addicted to something, right? Let's say some people are addicted to watching a cricket match, huh, on the television. So they're so absorbed, they forget about eating, they forget about sleeping, nothing, right? And sometimes if the parents are feeding, it's like they're just completely stuck to that. So that's called, you know, your complete absorption. Your chitta is only there; it's not in anything else. So the pure devotee's consciousness, not consciousness of course overall, but here much chitta. You can take chitta here means complete absorption. That means mind, intelligence, everything is completely focused on the Supreme Lord. So uh, they're so absorbed. So basically, chitta here means complete absorption in Krishna. They're so absorbed that they are not aware of the external world. They're not concerned, they don't mind, right? Happiness, distress, pleasure, pain, whatever in this world, they're not concerned about it. People maybe, you will see in the lives of pure devotees, some pure devotees, acharyas, great devotees, they're so absorbed in, like, they're in this world, but they're absorbed in Krishna's pastimes. They're getting chastised, they're getting blasphemed, and sometimes even physically, you know, um, they're beaten also. But they don't mind. It's not like they're retaliating, they're getting hurt, why you're cheating me or why you're exploiting me or why. No, because their absorption is completely in Krishna. This is a pure devotee, right? Like he's completely absorbed in Krishna so much that even when he gets um, chastised, or in Hindi they say gali dena, right? Like you're cursed, you're called bad words. They don't mind anything. They just go on with their absorption in Krishna. Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's qualities. That also happens in sequence. His name, from the name, his form is revealed, then his qualities are revealed, and ultimately his pastimes are revealed. So they're completely absorbed in Krishna. This is Mat Chitta. And then I wanted to tell you Mat Gata Prana today. Let's see. Usha Mataji.
Mataji, can I read the sloka?
Okay. Yeah, Inba and Nia are here also. Nilambari Mataji is also here. So all of you can. Yeah, go ahead, Medha.
Machchitta matgata prana bodhayantah parasparam katayantascha mam nityam dushyanti cha ramanti cha. Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted in my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Thank you. Next, let everyone recite the verse and then I'll take the question. Mataji. Inba and Nia and Jai
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Machchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Inia.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Machchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Mataji said, Jai Shri Mataji.
No, Mataji. Thank you,
Okay.
Mataji.
Next, Nilambari Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Yes.
Dandavat Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Machchitta matgata prana bodhayantascha. Once again. Bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam dushyanti cha ramanti cha. Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Narsimha Leela Chaitanya Prabhu, Suhrit Purti and Suvarnandi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
मच्चित्ता मद्गता प्राणा बोधयन्तः कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. Translation based on graces of the Srila Prabhupada. The thoughts of my pure devotee dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Hare Krishna. Other servants.
Okay, true. Okay, did everyone recite? Okay. So, Madchitta Madgata Prana. Madgata Prana means, so Prabhupada translated, their lives are devoted to my service. So here prana means what? Prana means life air. There is life air passing through our body, flowing through our body. When the life air leaves this body, what happens? Then the body, you know, finished. When the life air leaves means the soul has left. The body cannot do anything. Finished. So, how does this life air flow in the body? When you eat food, right? Annad, anna, right? When you eat grains, when you eat food, then the life air flows nicely. It's strong in the body. That is why when you don't eat, we had Janmashtami recently. If you have fasted without water even until midnight, uh, so of course, if you are actually absorbed in devotional service, that's different because devotional service is on the transcendental platform. You actually don't feel. It's a fact. It's a fact. Even children can, testify that actually, provided they are absorbed in Krishna conscious service. If you're not doing any service and if you're just fasting, then you'll be like, my energy is coming down. But if you're actually enthusiastically engaged in devotional service, you won't feel it. But anyway, normally, let's say, not on Janmashtami, let's say normally also, if someone doesn't get one meal, then you'll be like, oh. And what to speak of if you don't eat all day long, what happens is your prana in your body becomes weak. It won't flow vigorously. It will flow very slowly. And further, the connection of prana is with your senses also. When the prana flows very weak, then your senses also can't function. They are not as alert. You cannot see clearly. You cannot hear sounds clearly. Very faint. Everything becomes faint. Your vision becomes kind of blurred. Your hearing becomes faint, and no sound comes when you're trying to speak. If you keep fasting for a few days, then the prana becomes very weak. So, what do you understand from this? The effectiveness, the vigor with which prana flows in your body is directly related to the anna, the food that you eat. When you eat, then your prana will flow nicely in your body. And then, of course, if prana flows nicely, then your senses are also functioning properly. So here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the way pranavayu is dependent on food. It's directly related to food. When you eat food, prana flows nicely. When you don't eat food, prana becomes weak. Exactly like that, for Ananya Bhaktas, for pure devotees, their prana, their pranavayu does not depend on food, it depends on Krishna. It depends on Krishna. What does it mean by Krishna? What is the relationship of devotees with Krishna? It's devotional service. So, when an Ananya Bhakta If he does not, so every day, let's say he takes darshan of Krishna. If one day for some reason, or the other, somehow he was not able to take darshan, it's as if he has not eaten that day, his prana becomes weak. And if prana becomes weak, his senses also start becoming weak. And if he doesn't take darshan for 2 days, then even more. It's just like a normal person not eating. For him, his devotion, either he has to take darshan of Krishna, or he has to hear some Krishna katha, or he has to hear kirtan, he has to participate, he has to come in touch with Krishna through devotional service, one way or the other. And if it does not happen, if he's getting it every day, like every day you're eating, and one day you don't eat, how you become weak? Like that, every day he's coming in touch with Krishna. One day, if he does not get that, his prana becomes weak and weaker and weaker. And if you continue like that, he'll die also. He'll die also. Just like if you continue, if you to fast, not eating, how long can you go on? After some days, you will die. Your body cannot sustain. So for pure devotees, it is like that. Do we have any examples? Of course, we have so many examples. But prominently in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, it is 10th canto, 46th chapter. Yes. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai's condition when Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura. What was their condition? Because they are not seeing Krishna now, they were as good as dead. They were as good as dead. So this is called Madgata Prana. So this is the condition of pure devotees. So Mataji, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji asked a question about Mat Chitta, how we can get this type of Chitta, right? Like our consciousness, our Chitta, our absorption is completely in Krishna. How can we get this? So if you remember from the beginning of the 10th chapter, first of all, remember that this 10th chapter is said by Lord Krishna in an indirect way. Why in an indirect way? Krishna likes like that. He likes indirect talks. He likes, he's, like Tedha, right? Speaking Tedha. Why? Because he's also bent. He likes like that. He likes indirect. It's sweeter actually, right? It's more relishable, like that. So if you see how the previous verses leading to this, how it built up right from the beginning, if you see. So first, Krishna said, nobody can understand me. Even the demigods or the great sages, they cannot know me. So why they cannot know Krishna? Because they don't know my opulences, Krishna said. They cannot know my opulences. They cannot know my mystic powers. Krishna said that, right? Then, if they cannot know, then who can know? Who can know? Who can know the opulence? One who receives the mercy of Krishna can know. So there the question was, why they are not able to know? Why they are not able to know? They know the Shastra, they know the scripture. Simply studying scripture is not enough to understand the opulence. Why Krishna is talking about the opulences here? Ninth chapter, Krishna talked about his opulences. Beginning of 10th chapter, Krishna said, now I am going to repeat what I told you in the ninth chapter. What is that? About my opulences. He's going to speak again. But not only that, I will tell something more. Right? Paramam. I will tell you Bhuyaha. I will repeat what I said, but I will also tell you something more in this 10th chapter. Krishna told Arjuna. So, talking about his opulences, Krishna said, nobody can know my opulences. Even great sages and rishis cannot know my opulences. Even demigods who are very powerful, they cannot know my opulences. Why they cannot know? Because simply knowing, they all know great sages, they are very austere, they know the Shastra. It is not sufficient. To understand Krishna, to know Krishna tattvataha, right? Simply knowing from scripture, because one thing is to know theoretically, the other thing is to actually believe in that. To believe in that. Uh, it's not possible. It's not possible. Then who will know Krishna? So Krishna is making these statements, right? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. Everything is coming from me. Everyone, the whole world is hearing these statements. We are also hearing these statements. And we say, yes, we believe, because Krishna is saying we believe. Yes, anyone here who will say, no, I don't believe? No, we all will say, yes, I believe. But what do you mean by that believing? So one thing is to know, accept it, and the other thing is to, it's like, right, knowing that laddu is sweet. You know what is sweet, and you know laddu is sweet. But it is another thing to actually put it in your mouth and then know what a laddu, how that laddu is sweet. We are talking about that, knowing about Krishna. Who will know like that? That means who will get that experience of Krishna? Only one who receives the mercy of Krishna will be able to experience Krishna like that. Experience Krishna means what? Experience his opulences. How everything is coming from him. How he is the root of everything. Who will experience this? Who will have belief in Krishna's statements? Actual belief means to actually experience it. Who will have that? Only a person who receives Krishna's mercy will be able to, will get that type of belief, will get that type of experience. Okay? And then he will know what is Krishna's position, what are his opulences, what is his mystic powers. Then he will know. He will know means when he hears Krishna's statements, so many statements, I am the taste of water, I am the light of the sun and the moon. All these statements, when he hears, he will actually feel, he can actually know really what it means to be, you know, what is Krishna's actual position. It's not just theory, this is realization. Who will get this realization? One who receives Krishna's mercy will get this realization. About what? About Krishna's opulence, about Krishna's mystic power. Only that person who receives Krishna's mercy will get belief in Krishna's statements in Bhagavad Gita. That's why Srila Prabhupada also says that we say Bhagavad Gita I have read, but it will take many lifetimes to actually realize, to actually know Bhagavad Gita. It can take. It can take. To actually know. That's what is being talked about here. Who knows it? That means who believes it, who experiences it. Only that person who receives mercy of Krishna. And when he knows like this, what will he do? He'll be completely this. That's the condition. So that was the previous verse 10:8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. One who knows my opulences, what will he do? He will be completely absorbed in Krishna. What is his condition? That we are reading in the 9th verse. Machitta. Machitta. So Machitta will come for that person who knows about the opulences of Krishna. Tattvataha. And how one will know about the opulences of Krishna? When he receives the mercy of Krishna. How he will receive the mercy of Krishna? When he does Ananya Bhakti. Until and unless you begin Ananya Bhakti, you don't get the mercy of Krishna directly. Directly Krishna's mercy, like Krishna directly coming and Krishna says, next verse, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. I will give him. But when Krishna will come personally and he will interact with the devotee, he will give. You have to come to a certain level of qualification before that. It's understandable, isn't it? Why let's say there's a very great master, right? In any field, there's a great master. First of all, he's trained. There are under him, there are other teachers and low teachers. They will train them up, bring them to a certain level, right? And when someone is competent and is trained enough, then he is sent to the master, the expert. And now he will personally, he can train because he has come to a certain level. Otherwise, why waste the time and energy of such a, important person? He can train. So like that. Even in the counselor system, you have guru on top, and then there are these counselors, and each one has counselees, right? The guru trains the counselors, and the counselors are training the counselees, and they can have several levels in between. So like that, Krishna will not interact directly with somebody until and unless he is an Ananya Bhakta. And once he starts doing Ananya Bhakti, Tesham Satate, then Krishna says, now I won't leave. This is my devotee. And everything. Now Krishna says, Ananyas yanto mam yejana paryupasate Tesham nityavi yuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyam. I will carry his yoga and kshema. When? Ananyas yanto mam. Then he comes to Ananya Bhakti. Then Krishna will come in. But until that point, who is working with these devotees? Even before becoming Ananya Bhaktas, also they are devotees. All of us are trying to be devotees, isn't it? But at that time, it is Krishna's devotees who are training us, shedding their blood and sweat for us, right? Day after day, maybe even life after lifetime. They are spending time with us to bring us to the point of Ananya Bhakti. And once we enter into Ananya Bhakti, we start doing, then Krishna will come. So, who will get this type of chitta? Again, coming back to that question, a person who gets the mercy of Krishna, he will get. And the sequence, remember, when you get the mercy of Krishna, then you will understand his opulence. And when you know his, and that was also said previously, why Krishna is speaking about this opulence? What is the point? It can just be like, oh, Krishna's sweet pastimes and I just love Krishna. No, you need to know Krishna's position. Otherwise, we will become sahajiyas. We will take him ordinarily. And then tomorrow, any other person also we will say, oh, so cute, he is my Krishna, right? This little Gopal, right? This little girl is Radha. This little boy is Gopal. You'll start calling little children your children. No. Krishna's position is supreme. Not that my child or my grandchild is Krishna and no, you cannot bring down Krishna to that level. So therefore it is essential to know. Otherwise, why Krishna is telling about his opulences? And there it is explained why he is telling about his opulences, because for Dasya Bhaktas, and we all start off at that level only, isn't it? Dasya only. He is the Supreme Master. That is essential. Why Srila Prabhupada said, even though you're worshipping Radha Krishna, you should worship them like Lakshmi Narayan. That doesn't mean you're meditating on four-armed form of Narayan and Lakshmi Devi. No, no, no. It's your mood. Your mood is, he is the Supreme Master, I am a servant. That is the mood. Dasya Bhava. Krishna is the Supreme Master. Not that Krishna is my child and I'm going and dressing him. No. Krishna is the Supreme Master and I am his servant and then I am serving him. It is essential to understand Krishna's position as the Supreme. Therefore, we have these verses of Krishna's opulence. And who will understand this? That's also important. Who will understand Krishna's opulence? One who receives Krishna's mercy will understand Krishna's opulence. Who will receive Krishna's mercy? One who renders Ananya Bhakti. What is Ananya Bhakti? What is Ananya? Anyavilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhanavritam Anukulena Krishnanushilanam. This is Ananya Bhakti. When you do Ananya Bhakti, you get Krishna's mercy. Then Krishna will give his mercy. By that mercy, you will actually know his opulence. And when you know his opulence, then Machchitta, Madgata Prana, like that. So, one more point, Aditi Lata Mataji, 1 second, I'll come to you. Today also I was listening to Srila Prabhupada's morning rock conversation, and Srila Prabhupada says, if a neophyte devotee thinks that because now I am worshipping the deity, right? And sometimes when you're worshipping the deity, or you're given that position to go and directly interact, especially when you're worshipping the deity, you're interacting with the deity, and all of a sudden he'll start thinking, I'm a Paramahamsa now, right? But actually, the fact is, he's a neophyte and he's thinking he's a Paramahamsa. Anyone who thinks like this, he's actually a fool. He's foolish. It's not right. It's not right. So, it's not that nobody can think that Krishna is my child. You can, but first of all, deserve before you desire. Deserve. You finish your first grade, second grade, elementary school, middle school, high school, then you talk about college, and then you talk about graduate school, and then you talk about PhD and postdoc and all that. You didn't even do your primary elementary school, and you're already talking about topics about PhD. You won't be able to digest all that, and it's not even advisable. Understand? So, it's step by step. We must know about Krishna's opulence, about his supreme position. If we don't, what is the pitfall? If we don't know about his opulence, about his supremacy, about his greatness, why Krishna is speaking all this if it is not important? For Dasya Bhaktas, it is essential. You should first understand his greatness and then step by step. Ananya Bhakti means engage in his devotional service. What is his devotion? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaran, and everything will follow. You won't stay stagnant. If you are engaged in the process, it is practical. Devotional service is practical. If you are practically doing that, the procedure on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, I gave a class on Srila Prabhupada's position. So there, it is discussed that the Acharya gives the prescribed method. If you simply follow that method, it's the boat which will carry you across this material ocean. Whatever method Srila Prabhupada has given, don't skip anything. Rise early in the morning, do Mangalarati, chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, read, study Srimad Bhagavatam, associate with devotees, eat only what is offered to Krishna, Krishna Prasadam only. Don't eat anything outside. And whatever work you do, you have to dovetail it in Krishna's service. It has to be engaged in Krishna's service. So when we do all these things, if you're actually following these things, certainly result will come. You will certainly make progress. You will make progress, no doubt about that. Why? Because that is the boat that the Acharya himself uses by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord to cross the ocean of material existence, and he leaves that boat behind so that all of us can also use it and cross. What is that boat? Taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, but he gives a specific program, a specific process by following which success is guaranteed. Now, if you don't take to that process, you don't get the result. Like that. Okay? So now, Aditi Lata Mataji, you wanted to say something?
No, but Krishna wanted me to say something because I was thinking of, to ask you one question. Mataji, so is it a correct statement for a normal, normal person who is not a devotee? Because this happened in our. Can you hear me, Mataji?
I'm trying to. I can hear you. Your volume is low, so I'm trying to adjust my ear
Okay.
device.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mataji.
So,
Yeah.
in my office, actually, there was a customer who came who was saying, "Oh, it's so loud, I can't even hear myself, my mind." So, I was thinking in my mind, I was also thinking in my mind that this is actually a wrong statement because our mind also speaks nonsense, right?
Of
So,
course.
we should try to think of God instead of listen. We should try to listen to God instead of listening to the mind. Is it a correct statement?
But even if you listen to God, from where? That
From the
also
heart,
your mind is set. Huh?
from the heart. But then God,
No,
we
but
can't
how do you
hear.
know? How do you know that is your mind or is it God speaking from the heart?
Correct. That is why we have to be pure. We have to purify our heart to understand
How?
that it is God speaking by doing devotional service. That's what we do, right?
Yeah, but it, again,
Calm our mind.
but that will come much later, Mataji. Much later, like on a purified again. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. Right. To such a person, I give intelligence. That means Krishna is speaking, and you are hearing Krishna. That's happening in a much later stage. So there, you should already be on the platform of Ananya Bhakti to be able to tell that Krishna is speaking to me, and this is Krishna, and I'm following Krishna. Minimum qualification is Tesham Satata Yuktanam. Satata, 24/7. If such a person, then Krishna is speaking and you're hearing him. But for the rest of us, how can you tell? Is it Krishna or is it the mind? So for us, the safe way is you have to.
Follow
So the
Acharya.
intelligence is higher than mind.
Hmm.
The function of intelligence is to discriminate what is right and what is wrong. So how will intelligence discriminate? You should take intelligence from the scripture. So take intelligence from scripture, from Bhagavad Gita. That's why Srila Prabhupada always said, read my books, read 2 hours, 5 hours every day. He said, read. Because then you get that spiritual intelligence. It
But
is
this
devotional service.
we can talk about this to a devotee. I'm saying for a normal neophyte, normal people, like white skinned people who doesn't even know
Not
what
non-devotees, who are not devotees.
yeah, they're like they don't even know what Bhagavad Gita is, what Veda is. Then they're not from our culture also. So how do we address that then to that person?
In what way do you want to address? You want to give them Krishna consciousness, or how are you saying? Addressing means?
I don't know. I was talking in my mind because I didn't say anything because I didn't know how to address this because he was saying that it's so loud that I can't hear my mind. So I was thinking
What is so loud, Mataji? I didn't understand.
the atmosphere is so loud. Everyone is talking so loud
Oh, in the
that I
temple,
can't
in the
hear.
temple.
No. In our office. So that
Okay.
he was saying that he can't hear his mind. So I was thinking that we shouldn't even hear our mind because our mind is always speaking nonsense.
So to such a person also, I mean, that's right. That's right. But what he's trying to say is, I also agree with that, with what he said actually. Uh, Sometimes you have to be alone to at least some part of the day to, what is the word there? Reflect,
Yes.
to reflect, right? So that's what is like you can say listening to your mind. But basically, what you do is you have to reflect on, what it's. You can give it different terms, but basically, you're just calm down and you have to hear, you know, uh, kind of. Um, I'm running out of words, but uh, assimilate, right? Whatever you have gone through during the day, or just calm down. So for us, if that time is actually chanting, because you're just, if you're actually doing it right, you're just absorbed. And then also when you're doing some services also, like we read, right? We hear, but after reading, you have to recollect what you have heard. So for that, you need some time. So that way. So when he says, I want to hear my mind, again, mind will only give you, it's like a, once His Holiness Chandrasekhar Maharaj was giving class in Columbus. These radio stations, they have so many records, right? And then they just take one record and they just play it, and then they take out and they just play it. Like that. They just keep rotating. But they have all these records there, and they just take one and they just play it and take another. The mind is like that. All our experiences, Hmm. they're all stored there. What we have seen, what we have talked, this person that we have met, and what we have eaten. All these are just stored there. And what the mind does is it replays them. So it just takes. So basically, what the mind is talking is all the different experiences and things that you have. It's just playing them as a record for you again and again. So it's important what it is that you're exposed to. Uh, So if all day long, all your life, if you're simply engaged in non-devotional activities, that's what your mind is going to speak. So what is the big benefit in listening to the mind like that? So therefore, mind is like the reins of a chariot, right? And uh, so you need the driver, who is the intelligence, to control the reins, to hold the reins. So similarly, you need intelligence to guide the mind. Otherwise, the mind can take you. It can be sixth chapter Bhagavad Gita. The mind is your best friend and it's also your worst enemy. If the mind is controlled by what? Controlled by intelligence. And what type of intelligence? Intelligence from the scriptures. What is right and what is wrong, you know from the scriptures. Shastra Pramana. And then with that intelligence, you control the mind. Such a mind becomes your best friend. But if the mind is not controlled, and then you accept that mind as your guru, the mind itself is not controlled, and you accept the mind as guru, and you want to hear your mind and you want to follow, you will go into the ditch. So for us, the guiding principle, mind can be your friend. It's not like just completely, ignore the mind and dismiss the mind. No, but the mind has to be guided, trained properly. First, it has to be trained by the spiritual intelligence. So, your point is, how do we give this to someone who's not a devotee, who's a Western body? The science is the same, Mataji. That's what I would say. The science is the same. Whether someone is Western or Indian, he also has mind, intelligence, and senses and a body, and we also have the same thing. There may be some cultural differences, but ultimately, birth, death, disease, old age, pleasures, pains, it's the same all over the world. So, for us to be able to connect, we have to rise to that platform. If we are on the bodily platform, if I see myself as an Indian and I will see the other person as an American, then I will only talk on that platform. But Srila Prabhupada was able to talk to all types of people all over the world because he was able to connect to them on the soul platform, not just on the soul platform, on the platform of a servant of Krishna. Everyone is a servant of Krishna. On that, but he's now he's forgotten, right? Forgetful soul. So he was able to connect, and therefore he always made a point to his disciples. You will see, he says, Srila Prabhupada says,
We are not preaching to Christians. We are not preaching to Americans or Muslims or Africans. We preach to the spirit souls. So, of course, some people just like, small children and then grown ups, or, so depending on how much they are able to take, that much you will give. But that does not mean we, the science is still the same. You may not give the whole thing, but still you have to tell what is. They may not be able to take so much, then don't give so much. Give whatever they are able to take, but still the science is the same. You have to get intelligence from the scripture. So how do you start when you talk with such people? Talk about what they can relate to. Everyone can relate to the problems in life if they are honest. Sometimes they are not honest and they try to pretend like everything is nice. But we know nobody can be happy in this world. Some people may accept it, oh, it's okay. But then you have to tell them there's better than this. This is not all. This type of happiness is not, because you don't know what is higher happiness. So depending on the person's situation, but how to connect with them, you ask? Connect with them with what they can relate to. One thing that everyone, all people in this world can relate to is pain and suffering and death. Everyone goes through this birth, death of some dear ones, some it gives pain, loss, so troubles. So that's where you have to start from. And then what is the solution? Where do you find the solution? Right? That's where we have to start from. Birth, death, old age, disease. That's the beginning because everyone goes through that. Then how to come out of this? Is there life after this? And then you will, in that conversation, you will see, there's always divine and demoniac. Those who are demoniac, they won't be into it. Then don't spend too much time on them. But many people actually, right? Many people will not be demoniac. They will just be ignorant. They don't know. So when you're telling them, they will be interested. Oh, really? And like that.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we didn't even start all questions answered, right?
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Whatever you had said, that only was there in that quote, Mataji. That's why you forwarded. You can read
Oh,
aloud, Mataji.
okay. Achitri Mataji has forwarded a quote. Did you share it with everyone or? Okay, everyone.
Yes, yes.
So this is by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. We are just following Srila Prabhupada's formula. Yes, formula. Because by following his formula, we are guaranteed to be successful. Yes. I know that Prabhupada is the most expert doctor, and whatever he's prescribed for us, that's the best medicine. And soon as soon as we deviate from his prescription and we start to concoct and make our own formula, disasters are going to be the result. And by the way, such statements made by these exalted devotees, they are actually made by seeing such things happen. They're not just made out of, like when I say something, I may say based on what I heard from such devotees. But when they make statements, they've actually seen such disasters happen when people deviate from the prescription given by Srila Prabhupada or the Acharya, right? So at different times, Acharyas come. But for us particularly, in this particular time, at this time, Srila Prabhupada has given the prescription, the formula that will take us across this ocean of material existence. The faithful will cross, the faithless will stay here. And if you try come up with your own formula or adjust or tweak it a little bit here and there, you won't get the same result. Just like any medicine, you take it the way it is prescribed, then the result will come. And then you try to take little bit more or less and adjust the recipe. What will happen? You won't get the same result. You'll get some other result. Thank you for sharing that, Aditya Lakamapati. Okay.
Thank you,
So,
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
right,
It's
Hare
Achyut
Krishna.
Mataji. He's very wise.
Oh, sorry, Achyut Mataji.
Yeah.
All
Mother
A's.
Srimad, I just read in Krishna book, I think, there was this purport of Prabhupada, where it was written that to cross, if we do devotional service like Ananya Bhakta and all those, then we can cross over this material world. Krishna will send us the boat, but we don't need the boat because the miseries becomes like the hoof prints of the calf. So therefore we can just simply cross. We don't need to take the boat also.
Yes, yes. That's the same section I'm also talking about.
Oh,
That is for whom? That is for Prabhupada. So he has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, and he has accepted the lotus feet of Krishna as his boat. And by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, he is able to cross over. So this whole ocean is turned into a calf's hoof print, and he was able to cross over very easily. So the boat is sent by Krishna means he has the method now how to cross. But these devotees don't even take the boat. Why? Because when you take the boat and you cross, the boat is also gone. For them, they don't need the boat because the whole ocean has become into a calf's hoof print because of their Ananya Bhakti. So they leave the boat behind on this side and very easily jump over, cross over, and they'll go to the other side. But they leave the boat behind for whom? For you and me who are not Ananya Bhaktas. But by following his method, you can also cross the ocean of material existence.
very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Okay. And this is what all our acharyas are doing actually. All our acharyas. Their only meditation is because Machitta, right? They are completely absorbed in Krishna. And what is Krishna's mission? What is Krishna doesn't want to see us suffer. He wants us to come back to Godhead. So he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives us, but still we are not taking. We think the material world is still nice and we are not able to take to the process. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feels what to do. He becomes sad. I came to give the medicine, but still they are not taking what to do. He becomes sad. Then these devotees, these pure devotees, these acharyas, they tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, please don't become sad. They will come. They will come. Right? So they pacify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They pacify Krishna. Don't become sad. And they give their everything for the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So their constant meditation is, what is mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Everyone should take to this Hare Krishna Mahamantra and come back to Godhead so that they can live happily. Because everyone is his part and parcel. He feels for each and every person. And this devotee is able to feel the heart of Krishna. And therefore, he's always thinking about what's the best way to bring these people back. So from time to time, acharyas are coming according to that particular time, according to the circumstance, according to the audience, they give the right prescription, the right formula which will work. And because these devotees are so dedicated to Krishna, which devotees are acharyas? Huh? The method that they give, anyone who follows, Krishna accepts that method. Krishna accepts it because why? Because this devotee, this pure devotee, has given himself completely to Krishna. He surrendered himself. He doesn't have any desire of his own. His only desire is to please Krishna. Krishna's mission is his mission. So anyone who follows the method given by such a devotee, Krishna feels obliged to accept that devotee because he's coming through this devotee, through this Acharya. This is said by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. 10th canto, 2nd chapter, 32, I believe. You can check in the purport about Acharya. So, like that. So, yes, what Achitya Mataji shared and what Aditi Lata Mataji said. This is the meditation of all the Acharyas in the disciplic succession. How to bring people to Krishna consciousness, because this is pleasing to Krishna. Not just pleasing, this pacifies Krishna. This makes him, relieved, like that. So let's, what time is it? 5:27. Okay. Let's just read a little bit of Srimad Bhagavatam, at least one verse, so that we'll get into the flow again. We got kind of disconnected for some time. So today's class was only Bhagavad Gita. We'll read a little bit of Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 4. We are reading about Ambarish Maharaj. This is text 41. I will quickly read the last 2 or 3 translations to see what's going on, where we were. So, yes, so we're reading about Ambarish Maharaj, how Ambarish Maharaj took up a vow of Ekadasi Vrata for 1 year, and then on the Dwadasi that he was going to break, he went to Yamuna. He took bath in Yamuna, he worshipped the deity, and then he fed all the Brahmanas. And finally, with their permission, he was about to break his fast when Durvasa Muni appeared there as an uninvited guest. But Ambarish Maharaj, with great respect, he washed his feet and then he offered him prasadam. And Durvasa Muni said, I have to take care of my, daily worship, so I'll go to the river Yamuna and then I'll come back and take prasadam. So Ambarish Maharaj was waiting, but Durvasa Muni went into the Yamuna, started meditating on Brahman, and then it took a long time. He didn't come back in time. Meanwhile, the Muhurta, when Ambarish Maharaj was supposed to break his Ekadasi, that Muhurta was going to pass. So he, there Srila Prabhupada said, Ambarish Maharaj was more, because he was a Vaishnava, he is superior to the Brahmanas. He is consulting with the Brahmanas, but the Brahmanas didn't know what to do. So he himself gave a solution because he's a Vaishnava. He said, let me take a little bit of water. And they said, yes, yes, yes. Drinking water is both breaking fast and not breaking also. So he drank a little bit of water. So then we have to start with the next verse. And just I will read today because of lack of time. And tomorrow onwards we will continue. इत्यपः प्राश्य राजर्षिः चिन्तयन्मनसाच्युतं प्रत्यचष्टा कुरुश्रेष्ठ द्विजागमनम् एव सः. O best of the Kuru dynasty, after he drank some water, King Ambarish, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, waited for the return of the great mystic Durvasa Muni. So he drank some water and he was still waiting for his guests to come. He was going to feed his guests and only then he was going to honor Prasad. He was not going to eat. But just so that he will not transgress, right? The vrata, the system, it is supposed to end at a particular muhurta. So out of, you should honor that system. So he just drank a little bit of water. And then he was waiting. Durvasa yamuna kulat krita vashyaka agataha ragyabhinanditastasya bubudhe cheshtitam dhiya. After executing the ritualistic ceremonies to be performed at noon, Durvasa returned from the bank of the Yamuna. The king received him well. offering all respects. But Durvasa Muni, by his mystic power, could understand that King Ambarish had drunk water without his permission. So this is the system, right? When you are a host, you're supposed to first feed the guest. After the guest is completely satisfied, with the permission of the guest, then the host should take food. That's the system. So Durvasa Muni was the guest, and Ambarish Maharaj didn't feed Durvasa Muni, but he drank some water. Even why he drank water, not because he's thirsty or anything, but just for the sake of breaking his Ekadasi Vrata, little bit of water, a few drops he took. But Durvasa Muni understood, and he got upset that without taking my permission, you drank water. How Durvasa Muni understood? Because of his mystic power. He's a mystic yogi, so he could understand. मन्युना प्रचलद्गात्रो भ्रुकुटी कुटिलाननः बुभुक्षितश्च सुतरां कृताञ्जलिम् अभाषत. Still hungry, Durvasa Muni, his body trembling, his face curved, and his eyebrows crooked in a frown, angrily spoke as follows to King Ambarish, who stood before him with folded hands. So Durvasa Muni was trembling with anger. How dare you drink without feeding the guest first? You drink water without taking my permission, like that. So he was trembling in anger. His face was curved. His eyebrows were crooked in a frown. And he spoke to Ambarish Maharaj. So what Durvasa Muni said, that we will read tomorrow. Okay. So I just bookmark that. And just a second. Let's see. Bhagavad Gita, where we are. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, text 74. Well, hmm, I'll stop here, okay, because I know you all have to go to work. So we will do Bhagavad Gita and Lilamrita tomorrow. Okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. We will meet again tomorrow for Bhagavatam and today evening for Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Did we
Hare
have
Krishna.
Chaitanya Charitamrita class yesterday, Mataji?
Yeah, we did. Chaitanya Charitamrita. I sent a message. You didn't check?
No, Mataji. We were in the hospital actually. My son was taken to the hospital from school, so
What happened? Okay, I'll talk to you later.
yeah, he's fine. But they just thought that he's not responding.
Really, in the school they thought he was not responding.
Yeah, because he threw up, and then they were thinking that he's not responding. So they took him to the hospital.
But he's okay.
He's okay. He's okay. He went to school again today. But we were, because once he goes to emergency hospital, he has to go through all the testing and all that. So that's why we were stuck there till 30.
I see. Also, yesterday was your Guru Maharaj's 79th Vyas Puja.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah.
And Vindhyavali Mataji is also in hospital, you know that, right?
Again? No, I don't know.
Yeah, she again was admitted in the hospital, I think Friday, and she was having body aches and all those things. So they found out that they again checked the stent which was attached, but then they were thinking there is blockage, but there is no blockage. They found out that her kidney is not doing very good, so now she has to take medication for that. I mean, it's very bad kidney.
Really?
And
So she's
yeah,
still in the hospital?
she's still in the hospital. They said that she will be released today.
Yeah, I usually Mataji joins, and I thought maybe Mataji joining temple class
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like
I
that.
was
So,
seeing, I also didn't know. I was seeing in the temple, I was looking at her seat, where she always comes. I was thinking,
yeah,
what other Mataji came, but Vindhyavali Mataji is not there. So then they announced there that, to pray for her, to Narsimha Dev, because she's in the hospital. Then all these things we came to know.
thank you so much for telling me, Mataji. I will pray certainly.
Yes,
Thank you.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.